I'm Kim Mueller, and today I'm speaking with Guillermina Molina. She's the coordinator for the world's largest undergraduate case competition. So thank you for joining us today, Willie.
Of course. Happy to be there.
At USC Marshall case competitions, university student teams from all over the world come together to compete on a time crunch to solve real-life business problems. There are competitions all over the world. What sets your competition apart from the rest?
Sure. Well, the USC Marshall International Case Competition started in 1997. We began with a small number of teams, and as the years have passed, we are now the largest undergraduate case competition in the world, welcoming 30 different universities to come and compete here at the USC Marshall School. I think what also has over the years set us apart from at least what we hear from our competitors is that we build in a lot of fun activities that allow students to get to know the city of Los Angeles in addition to our wonderful university. So I think that that's one of the long-lasting memories each kid takes with them at the completion of this rigorous process is wonderful memories of their time in Los Angeles and the amazing competitors that they've met as each one comes from the top business schools around the world.
So to focus in on the types of cases that the students are presented with, are these cases coming from real businesses that they're looking to have solved by students, or are they fictional cases?
Absolutely. Our prerequisite is always that the case is real-time from an organization that is currently struggling with that particular challenge. I think that also is something that has made this competition unique. We have very rarely used what's called canned cases that come from Ivy or Harvard Business Review. All of our cases are real-time and unique. We work very closely with our partner corporation in terms of creating a case that's robust and uses real-time information. Frequently, these companies grant us access to more materials than they would even in their own internal consultants and allow our students to get a sneak peek into their day-to-day operation.
So there's a lot of work involved for the students that are in this competition. What is the selection process for the different students that do compete?
Well, I think at each university there's individual processes that take place. For example, here at USC Marshall, we make sure that our students are selected from a competitive pool of candidates that commit to working on case competitions. They come and practice every Friday from 2 to 5 o'clock with a number of faculty members from a variety of disciplines that coach and support them. In addition to, they meet individually as a team with a faculty advisor, and that's how they're able to craft their strategies and what kinds of things they're going to ultimately roll out when they go to a competition. However, each school seems to do this process a little bit differently. As I've spoken to my colleagues across the different partners that we've worked with, there's different methods of gathering teams. Some come from honors courses, some comes from clubs, some are volunteer students. We actually, again, use a core of some of our students that tend to enter fields like management consulting and investment banking. So again, these are top caliber students that come in and commit for a full academic year to this process.
Okay, and then for the meetings and the practices, are they looking at actual other cases to give them practice in doing an analysis, or how does that look like?
Absolutely. They do review past cases that we've done via the Marshall International Case Competition, past cases that perhaps have been done at other competitions where a team will come back and bring back the case, so we use that as practice. And other times we do use more canned cases, so we will use Harvard Business Review or Ivy cases to use as practice. So we do a variety of different ways, also too, to prepare them for the different kinds of competitions they may be going to. For example, the Marshall International one allows for 24 hours of preparation. There are other competitions around the world that have very different formats where perhaps they'll have 3 hours to prepare a case. So they've got to be able to respond to the different potential scenarios that they're faced with at each individual competition. So we do our best to try and put them through the trenches and really prepare them for a variety of potential situations.
So you mentioned that at the actual competition, students only have 24 hours to prepare their presentation. Can you speak on what this day looks like for them?
Sure. Well, the way that we start, at least in the Marshall International Case Competition, is Friday morning, typically after a week of more social, fun events, sightseeing opportunities, etc. Friday morning is when we'll do a draw. That way, each of the 30 teams comes forth. They select their specific time frame, and we will stagger the distribution of the case accordingly so that if a student picks one of the first sessions, they will go ahead and get the case first thing that morning and can go ahead and start immediately working on it. Other teams will stagger and ultimately receive the case within a 2-hour time period after that. Once a student has the case, it is given to them in a paper-based format as well as in a USB flash drive. So they have an electronic and a paper version. And right away, they'll start dividing tasks. Whoever the person is that perhaps will handle more of the financials will start doing research on that. Whoever's going to start working on the PowerPoint will start drafting a sample PowerPoint that they've, kind of worked on and can customize a little bit. Whoever's going to be working on trying to lay out the groundwork for the project and who's going to sort of manage the timing, that all gets decided. Each team, too, does get an assortment of supplies, so they'll have flip charts and markers and Post-it notes. And very quickly, their hotel room becomes a mission control room with sticky notepads all over the place. They're, of course, very comfortable in sweatpants, and they're fed lots of snacks throughout the day to keep up energy levels. And ultimately then, as the day progresses, they'll do some sample runs, they'll do some sample presentations, and in the early morning hours of Saturday, we collect the same flash drive with their final PowerPoint presentation and executive summary and addendums so that once it's submitted, no more changes can be made. So at that point, all they have left to do is just practice. And we provide practice rooms on campus so they can come in from the hotel in their suits, ready to go, run through it, and then eventually make it to their presentation room.
So what opportunities does a case competition experience like this one provide for students, specifically in regards to their future careers?
Absolutely. This is a fantastic way of getting amazing experience. And every student that has gone through this process, as rigorous and as hard as it is, if they can make it to the finish line, they will always say this is the most memorable experience that they've had while at USC Marshall. It is a pressure cooker, a lot of stress involved, but they learn a tremendous amount. They're forced to very quickly start digging through hundreds and thousands of documents to fine-tune what they're really looking for. And that's a skill set that's very valuable as you enter the workplace. They know how to work in teams. They can very effectively share information with people that they may not have really known much about beforehand. And they're able to really fine-tune their presentation skills, their analytical skills. So very quickly, you're getting a very well-rounded, trained student. So as a recruiter, it's very enticing to take students that are part of this case process because you know that you're getting not only one of the more intelligent students that we have here at Marshall, but also somebody that can very quickly jump into action if they're given a task, whether they know a lot about what they need to be doing, and even if they don't, they will learn it. So it's a very amazing training ground for them.
So lastly, what do you feel that this generation of business students has to offer as they enter into the workforce?
Well, I've been working here at USC Marshall and in higher education for 10 years. I've seen a different student come through my door. Every year it always changes a little bit more. And these students, I think for me, have a passion for making a difference, whether that is in a corporate setting or it's making a difference in the world in a capacity of social entrepreneurship. So what I have seen from a lot of these students is by learning a lot of these skill sets, by applying what they're learning in a classroom in a more practical type setting, they're very quickly digging through and problem solving and are very likely to, not only after doing some time in the corporate world, they're likely to open their own businesses and be entrepreneurs themselves and know about how to be better managers, how to work with others. They're far more global. These kinds of experiences too really do expose them to people from all over the world and different perspectives. So I think that we're getting a student that's very idealistic, but also an incredibly hardworking population. These students really just are eager to get out there and make a difference And I just hope the case preparation process does provide them some practical opportunities to focus that energy that they're learning in the classroom and sort of mold it a little bit more so that it's ready to come out in the corporate setting as they emerge. They're going to be amazing contributors to this world. I've seen it happen, and I know it will continue to happen as this population enters the workplace.
Great. Well, thank you, Willie, so much for meeting with us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
For more information on business case competitions, visit Kidela.com.